Hi, Janet Beckers here with your wonderful web TV tip of the week. This week I'm going to talk to you about ways to integrate Lumpy Mail into your online marketing business. So see me on the inside and I'll talk about what is Lumpy Mail. I'll talk about all the different stages within the cycle of a customer that you can be using Lumpy Mail and give you a few ideas, plus a very important point that will make the difference between it working for you well or it making you go broke. See you on the inside. Now, if you saw my web TV episode from last week, you will see that I introduced you to a piece of Lumpy Mail that I received as part of a joint venture invitation. Now, if you haven't seen that, go back and have a look at last week's episode, and you'll see that I was opening a beautifully presented box of crystal glasses in there, champagne flutes. Now, that was one fantastic way to get my attention. So what I'm going to talk about today is take this a little bit further and talk to you about some different ways that you can be using Lumpy Mail in your business and just go through the different cycles that your clients, the life cycle of your client, and just give you a few ideas of how it can work. So first of all, what is Lumpy Mail? You know, when you go and get the mail and you open them up and you go, bill, 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 they're the last ones you look at. Oh, handwritten card, better open up that one soon. Oh, this one's a bit lumpy, there's something inside there. I'm going to open that one first. Oh, this one's a parcel, I'm so opening that. So you can see, so Lumpy Mail is just those ones that you make you go, it's a different shape, there's something in there I really want to see. That is Lumpy Mail. Now, a lot of times, this is not used a hell of a lot in businesses, and especially in online businesses. So here is your opportunity to stand out. So the first thing I want to say to you as a disclaimer starting out is, don't just think, wow, I'm just going to wow people and I'm going to send them crystal glasses, or I'm going to be sending every single new potential client this particular gift, or all new customers get that. Do your sums. You've got to know that this is part of your marketing. It is part of whatever you're going to be delivering to your clients. So make sure you've budgeted for it. If it's going to be something that you're doing for potential clients, you've got to have an idea of how many potential clients are actually going to convert into paying customers and how much will they pay you before you know if it's worth you sending out the cost of that actual gift. So this is an important thing. Don't just go and go, yep, this is a great idea. I want you to take the time to do the maths on it. Otherwise, you're going to be seen to be an incredibly generous but very poor person. Okay, so that's the very first point I want you to think about. So let's look at the life cycle of a client and some different places that you can be using this. So the first one is when you've got somebody that is not a customer yet, but you want to entice them to join your mailing list. Now, usually you will use something like a free report, a webinar, videos. Those things are fantastic because they're educational and they're free, really. You've just got your hosting and your time. Make sure you get a return on that. Now, you may see on some websites you go to where people say, sign up here and I'm actually going to send you a CD that's got the recording on it, or I'm going to send you a DVD. Now that can be fantastic because people are actually going to get something physical from you. And usually when you've joined, they say, look, if you want to get the information straight away, here it is as an MP3, but just wait, and then you've got another week or so, and then I'll get another reminder of you. Really, really effective and powerful because they have to give you their physical address as well. You're getting more information on them. Make sure you know, though, if that works, that you've got the cost of the CD or the DVD, you've got the cost of the packaging, the cost of the freight. You want to make sure that you've got an idea of how many of those people who receive that are very likely to then go on and purchase from you. And when they do purchase, how much are they likely to spend? So if you know, if you've got a really predictable system that you know is going to convert at the right amount and it makes sense financially, fantastic way to get people's attention. So that's one there in the life cycle. The next one could be that you've got them free and you want to move them to something where you're going to be selling. Now, an example of this may be where you might be running a free physical workshop. This is great for people who run seminars, and it might be an introductory one. So it might be free or low cost for them to turn up. But when they get there, you're going to give value, of course, but then you're going to upsell them into something. It's really important you get as many people as you can to turn up, otherwise they're not going to see the sales message. So this can be a great thing where people will say, okay, one thing that I've seen is where they will go, you'll receive your tickets to the event actually in the mail. They don't need to have them as a physical ticket, but it can make a difference. And it might be accompanied with something, for an example that I have seen, but it was kind of weird, where you get the CD case and it says when you turn up, we're actually going to give you the CD to go in it. That's worked for quite a few people. Kind of weird, I thought, but it works. That's one example. Depending on what it is that you might be getting people to come along to a virtual thing, it might be a webinar. If you know that it's going to actually be cost effective, you might want to send something out to them beforehand. Just putting it out there as ideas. The next thing could be when somebody has purchased from you. That's the next stage in their life cycle. So at that stage, you might say, okay, well, I'm going to send them a copy of my book, or I'm going to send them something that's totally unrelated, but it's a gift that would appeal to them. And this is the nice part. If it's something like that, it doesn't even have to be something that you pay for it. It could be something that you find from a joint venture partner. So for example, a lot of my customers are women. I could find a joint venture partner with somebody that perhaps does perfumes or scarves, and they receive something actual physical in the post, and they have to actually give that other person their contact details to redeem something else. It's got to work both ways. So think about that. It doesn't have to be you. You don't have to be paying for this. Note to self, that could be good. And again, think about, when you're doing it, make sure that you've actually budgeted for it. You don't want to give away all your profit in your postage. So think about that as you're delivering. The next part in the life cycle is when you're upselling to somebody. So you might have a customer and you're wanting them to upgrade to something else. You can wow them by sending them the sales material to upgrade with something that really gets their attention. That can kind of relate into, this is why you would want to upgrade. It's all to do with, we're going to give you lifestyle back, perhaps. So, here is, I don't know, a sarong. Thinking off the top of my head here, something that fits in with your lifestyle. Or here are some tickets to go to have a weekend away with us, that sort of thing. I'm just thinking big here, but just to get you thinking. Next stage is in the life cycle. It could be that you've got a client and you really want to keep on nurturing that relationship. No reason why you can't be sending out to really good clients, people that have been continuing to invest with you and you want them to continue to invest. Just send them a gift, something physical. That can be really nice. A bit like I did for some of my clients around Christmas time. They all got beautiful mugs, porcelain mugs, and really nice, my favourite tea, the licorice tea. Just little, doesn't have to be huge, but just something that says thank you. And then there's the other part of the cycle is when you've got a client that, you haven't heard from them for a while. They haven't purchased from you for a while, but you know that they fit the criteria to be a great client. You want to reignite that relationship. So that may be another time to send some kind of lumpy mail, something that's going to get their attention and start thinking about you again. Again, make sure that it's going to work out financially for you. Generosity is one thing, getting attention is one thing, making it so that it is a financially sensible thing to do in your business is the thing that you really have to think about there. So that's just a few ideas about the different parts in the life cycle of your client and how you can actually be using physical mail, which makes you stand out, because normally we only get bills, unfortunately, that comes via physical mail these days, and a lot of those are electronic anyway. So I'd love to hear from you. What have you used? I know I asked you this last week, so we might have got some ideas last week. I'd really like to hear from you again. Now that you've talked about the different cycles, what would work for you? What would get your attention? And what has got your attention in the past? Or what backfired, either for you as the customer or for you as the merchant? So, you know, I'd love to hear from you about your ideas about things that you receive in the post that are physical, that work and that don't work. So please leave your comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. I find this stuff really fascinating, and yeah, I'd love to get your ideas. I'm sure that everybody who's watching these videos and quietly staying behind the scenes will learn a lot from you with your comments as well. So please take the time to join the party, and I'll see you down there. Bye.